On behalf of Indira Gandhi National Open University, myself, Professor Subhashish Maji, today we are discussing the first unit of the course Energy Resources and Conversion Process. The course code is OEY001. In fact, this course is from certificate in energy technology and management. So today's topic is energy and its various forms. As you all know that energy is very much essential for our day-to-day life. So today we will discuss what is energy, what is power, and different forms of energy, and some basic knowledge of electrical engineering. That is very necessary because we will take a series of lectures on this course, that is energy resources and conversion processes, and for that course basic knowledge of electrical engineering is the prerequisite knowledge which is very necessary to understand the remaining units. So today's topic is energy and its various forms. So you all know that energy is very much required for our day-to-day life. When you wake up in the morning, you switch on your fan and because you need a cool breeze, and for that we have to have electricity. That is one of the main important form of energy. Now let us have introduction to energy. Energy has been universally recognized as one of the most important inputs for economic growth and human development. There is a strong two-way relationship between economic development and energy consumption. We all know that GDP is the indicator how a country is progressing in economic front, but per capita consumptions of energy is also an indicator for the quality of life and the advancement of that country. Energy is the essence of life. We need energy in all walks of our life. Energy is defined as the capacity to do work. So you take the simple examples of thermal power plant where coal is burnt in the boiler. So when coal is burnt, heat is evolved, so there is a conversion of energy which is associated within the coal as a chemical energy that is converting into the heat energy. Then that heat is being utilized for converting the water into the steam. So we get high pressure, high temperature steam. So that heat, after burning the coal, we are converting water into steam. That high pressure, high temperature steam is passing through the turbine and the turbine rotates. So again we are converting from heat energy, or we can say that thermal energy, to mechanical energy. And when turbine rotates, the shaft of the turbine is coupled with the shaft of the generator, and the generator is producing electricity. So again we are converting the kinetic energy of rotation to the electrical energy. So we can transform from one form of energy to another form. And when you switch on the light, you get light energy. So this is a conversion of electrical energy to light energy. Now we have already discussed that energy is the capacity to exert a force through a distance and manifest itself in various forms. Engineering processes involve the conversion of energy from one form to another, the transfer of energy from place to place, and the storage of energy in various forms utilizing a working substance. The unit of energy in SI system is Newton meter. We call it joule. The energy per unit mass is the specific energy, the unit of which is joule per kg. Now, let us first discuss about the conservation of energy. The definition you have already studied, that is nothing but energy cannot be created nor destroyed. The total energy is always conserved. So, we will discuss these things at different points of time in today's discussion. Now, first of all, let us have a very simple example, so that after solving this example, we will proceed further. The example is a pump discharges a liquid into a drum at the rate of 0.040 meter cube per second. This is the flow rate. The drum 1.6 meter in diameter and 4.50 meter in length can hold 9,000 kg of the liquid. Find the density of the liquid handled by the pump and the mass flow rate of the liquid handled by the pump. You know that mass is equal to density into volume. So, density is equal to mass per volume. Here mass is given, that is 9,000 kg. But how to calculate volume? So, it is a cylindrical drum. So, volume we can calculate pi d square by 4 into L. Here d is 1.6 meter and L is 4.5 meter. So, we can calculate volume. After calculating the volume, we can calculate density in this formula, that is mass per volume. It will come at 994.72 kg per meter cube, and the flow rate is nothing but density into volumetric flow rate, and flow rate we can get, that is 994.72 into 0.04, that comes out to be 39.79. It is a mass flow rate, so unit is kg per second. Now, next is force. See, this is the first unit which will give you the brief introduction for energy, but for understanding energy, we must have the concept of force. The force acting on a body is defined by Newton's second law of motion. The unit of force is the Newton. A force of 1 Newton produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square when applied to a mass of 1 kg. Now, let us discuss about the weight. Now, the weight of a body, that is W, is the force with which the body is attracted to the center of the earth. It is the product of its mass and the total acceleration due to gravity, that is G. So, W is equal to mg, where m is the mass of the body and g is the gravitational acceleration. The value of g, you all know that we take 9.8 meter per second square. Now, what is energy? Energy is a property of matter that can be converted into work, heat or radiation. And there are different forms of energy like mechanical energy, thermal energy, electrical energy, light energy, sound energy, magnetic energy and nuclear energy. Now, mechanical energies are two types. One is kinetic energy and another one is potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. If the mass of a body is same, moving with a velocity v, so kinetic energy will be half m v square. And potential energy is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position or configuration of the body. If a body is placed at a height h, then potential energy with respect to that datum level is mgh, where m is the mass, g is the acceleration due to gravity and h is the height on which the body is placed. But when a spring is compressed, there is a change in configuration of the body. So in that case, there is a spring energy. If the spring is compressed at a distance x, then the kinetic, that potential energy possessed by that body is half k x square, where k is the spring constant and x is the compression of the spring. And thermal energy we have already discussed. Electrical energy, that we have discussed while discussing the thermal power plant. And see, nuclear energy, that when the nuclear reaction takes place, whether it is a fission or fusion, there is a tremendous energy generated because of the nuclear reaction, and that is the nuclear energy. Now nuclear energy, with the help of nuclear energy, we are also producing electricity. In India today, there are several nuclear plant and nuclear reactors are there, and we are generating electricity, and capacity for generating electricity through nuclear power is 6780, that is 6780 megawatt, that is 6.78 gigawatt in today's capacity for power generations through nuclear power plant. Now, see, there are different units. For FPS unit, the unit of energy is BTU, that is British Thermal Unit. 1 BTU is the equivalent of the energy required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. And the unit of energy, the joule, is defined as the energy supplied by a force on 1 Newton in causing movement through a distance of 1 meter. But there is another unit that is of heat, that is calorie. So 1 calorie is the heat equivalent to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water, for rising the temperature through 1 degree centigrade. Now see, when you think of the power, so power is the rate of doing work, and the unit of power is watt, because the rate of doing work, the unit of work is joule, and so the rate of power will be in terms of joule per second. So joule per second is known as watt, and 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per second, but that is also equal to 1 Newton meter per second, because 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton meter. There are some bigger units of power. You might have heard about kilowatt, you might have heard about the megawatt, you might have heard about the gigawatt. So 1 kilowatt is equal to 1000 watt, 1 megawatt is equal to 10 to the power 6 watt, and 1 gigawatt is equal to 10 to the power 9 watt. Now the units which we are talking about in FPS unit is BTU, that is the unit of energy. Calories is the unit of energy in CGS system, and kilowatt hour is also the unit of energy. This we call it the board of trade unit. When you get any electricity bill, you will find that this much unit we have consumed for this month, and 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 board of trade unit. So if 1000 watt heater works for 1 hour, then the energy consumed by that heater that is equal to 1 kilowatt. And joule, you know that 1 joule is equal to 1, that is Newton meter. So one can be converted to another if the conversion factor is known. Now you see, this picture is given that different forms of energy, that is energy transformation. You see that on the top you will find that there is a factory, and that is, we can say that is a nuclear power plant. Yes, that can be a nuclear power plant, but here we will consider that is a thermal power plant. That power plant, in thermal power plant we use the coal, wire or natural gas as a fuel. So chemical energy to electricity. And if we consider it is a nuclear power plant, here we use the nuclear fuel, that is uranium-235, that is the nuclear that fuel, and that can be converted into electricity. And when we get the electricity, we can use the light, and for sound system, TV, radio, tape recorder, we can make use of electricity for running those items. And battery, storage battery is there for that is used in the car. You might have seen that in the car we use the storage battery for lighting system, and for that car we also use the petrol, diesel, that is the fuel. We use CNG, that is compressed natural gas, and nowadays electric vehicles is also there. So we use the electric energy for running the car, and when the car is moving, that means it is gaining kinetic energy, and here the transforming energy from chemical energy to the kinetic energy while the car is moving. And one very important figure is given that a player is playing football, but from where he gets energy, because the food which he takes for the survival, or whether it is breakfast, lunch or dinner, and that from food we get the energy for doing work. Now next slides, as I told you that we will have some small discussion on electrical energy, because the knowledge of electrical energy is also very important for understanding the next courses of discussion. We will discuss, today we are discussing energy and its various forms, and that is the conventional energy source. We will discuss about the conventional energy sources, that is coal, oil and natural gas. We will discuss about the renewable sources of energy like solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, wave energy, tidal energy, and hydro energy. These are all falls under renewable energies, and we will also discuss about energy conversion processes. Now you might have heard about the term current, that the flow of electrons in any conducting material from one point to another is called electric current. While the electrons move from negative terminal to the positive one, by convention, the current is said to flow from the positive to the negative terminals. The basic unit of current is ampere, and the instrument to measure current is called ammeter. So you will find that electricians are coming to your house and they are measuring the current flowing to the circuit, and that instrument name is ammeter, and the unit of current is ampere. Now voltage, you might have seen that while using electricity for our domestic purpose, we need 230 volt, that is being supplied by the electricity supplier, and of course for power unit we need 440 volt. But what is voltage? The electromotive force or potential difference causing the flow of electrons, that is current, in any conductor is called voltage. The voltage is measured between the two ends of the circuit, and basic unit of voltage is volt. The instrument to measure voltage is called voltmeter. Now resistance, this is the property of a substance which gives the opposition to the flow of electrons through itself. Resistance is measured in ohm, and instrument to measure resistance is called ohm meter. Now you see, in our that wiring purpose for our domestic uses in electricity, we use copper wire, we were aluminum wire, because those wire are good conductor of electricity. But there are some materials which are very bad conductor of electricity, like porcelain and or brick. These are the bad conductor of electricity. Now when you discuss electricity, the most important law comes in our mind is Ohm's law. But let us see what is Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that for a conductor at constant temperature, the current in the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across it. So if B is the potential difference, I is the current flowing through the conductor, so B is directly proportional to I. So when you write these expressions in terms of equation, you have to introduce a constant of proportionality. That constant of proportionality is known as the resistance R. So B is equal to I into R, where B is the potential difference across the 2 points of the conductor, and where R is the resistance and I is the current. Now this is a very important law, and we will measure the current with the help of this law, and this is one of the most important law in electricity. Now points to remember: when you talk about the power, the measuring unit of power is what? Power is equal to voltage into current. Power is equal to V into I, voltage into current. So 1 watt is equal to 1 volt in multiplied by 1 ampere. And points to remember for energy, that measuring unit of energy is kilowatt hour, that is 1 board of trade unit, and 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1000 watt for 1 hour. That means if any electric heater is rated as 1000 watt, and if it works for 1 hour, it will consume 1 kilowatt hour energy. It is also known as board of trade energy, BOT. Now you will come across active power, reactive power, or apparent power. So let us have a brief idea about these topics. So kilowatt hour, kW, that is known as the active power. Kilowatt is called active power, also called as working power, actual power, and real power. It is the work producing part of the apparent power. So next is kilovolt ampere. It is called apparent power, and it is measure of electric load on a circuit. And reactive power is the reactive power, KVAR is the reactive power, and is that portion of apparent power which does no work. But reactive power is very, very important when there is a moving part like or motor or transformers. These are also very important. Now the kilovolt ampere, KVA, is equal to vectors. This is a vector sum. KVA is vector sum of KW and KVAR. So we will see in a diagram, so that we will get a clear idea about this. Now kilovolt ampere, KVA, it is called apparent power and is a measure of electric load on a circuit. For a single phase and 3-phase circuits, the expressions are different. For a single phase, KVA is equal to voltage into ampere divided by 1000. For a 3-phase, KVA is equal to 1.732 into voltage into ampere divided by 1000. Why we are dividing 1000? Because V into A, that is voltage into current, it gives power, that is watt. We are dividing 1000 to convert it into kilo. Same, but for a 3-phase, that is that expression is equal to √3 voltage into ampere by 1000. The value of √3 is equal to 1.732. Now this is a very beautiful diagram to understand what is apparent power, real power, and reactive power. See, the apparent power is the hypotenuse of this triangle, and if you take the vector sum, that apparent power, if it is denoted by S, and P is the real power and Q is the reactive power, you see the vector sum of S is equal to P vector plus Q vector. If you apply the vector in this triangle, so S is equal to vector P plus vector Q. Now see, S you can have two components. One is horizontal component and another one is vertical component. So horizontal component P is equal to S cos theta and vertical component is S equal to vertical component is Q. So vertical component Q is equal to S sin theta. So real power is equal to S cos theta and reactive power, that is Q, is equal to S sin theta. So here we are introducing one very important term, that is power factor, and the power factor is defined as cos theta. So cos theta means base by hypotenuse. So power factor is equal to real power by apparent power, and the value of power factor maximum we can have 1, and of course minimum is 0, because when theta is 0, so when theta is 0, so cos 0 is 1, and when theta is 90 degree, then the value of cos theta will be 0. Now here, so the maximum value of power factor will be 1 and minimum value is 0. Now here you see that active power, that is kW, is called active power, also called as working power, actual power, real power. It is the work producing part of the apparent power. For a single phase and three phase circuits, it is given as follows, that is kW for a single phase, that volt into ampere into power factor divided by 1000, and for a three phase 1.732 into voltage into ampere into power factor whole divided by 1000. Now let us have a very simple example so that we can understand very easily that a 100 watt light bulb is left accidentally on overnight, that is 12 hours. How much energy does it consume and how much money does it cost? If electricity cost is rupees 2.50 per kilowatt hour. See how much power is consumed, that is V into I. So V, so here you see that how much power it will consume. Say 100 watt is light bulb is on for 12 hours. So the total energy consumed will be 100 in 12, that is 1200 watt hour, but we need kilowatt hour, that will comes out to be 1.2 kilowatt hour. And here you see the energy use is equal to power into time of power use. So power is, bulb is 100 watts for 12 hours. So 100 watt bulb working for 12 hours. So it will be 1200 watt hour. Convert it into kilowatt hour, that will be 1.2 kilowatt hour, and the per unit cost is 2.5 rupees. So total cost will be rupees 3. Now here an electric bulb of 40 watt works at 220 volt. Calculate its resistance and current carrying capacity. We know power is equal to voltage into current. So current will be power divided by voltage. Power is 40, voltage is 220, so 0.182 ampere, and resistance is equal to V square by P. V is 220 and P is equal to 40, it will come 1210 ohm. Now another example is this, a three phase inductor motor 45 kilowatt is used for pumping water. The operating parameters are V 440 volt, current I is 30 ampere, power factor is 0.96. So we know the formula, that is 1.732 V into I into power factor into the time, that is multiplied by 1000. Put the value, you will get 87.79 kilowatt hour. Now we will discuss a very important topic, that is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is the science of relationship between heat, work and the properties of substance. heat and work are intimately connected through energy, and hence thermodynamics is defined as the study of energy. Energy is essential and vital component of all life, hence knowledge of thermodynamics is essential for all kinds of use. See, heat, when you think of heat, heat is defined as the forms of energy that is transferred across boundary by virtue of a temperature difference. Mode of heat transfer, we know there are three modes of heat transfer: conduction, convection and radiation. So you have come across the term that is specific heat. The specific heat of a substance is defined as the amount of heat required to raise a unit mass of the substance through a unit rise in temperature. The symbol C will be used for specific heat, and C is equal to Q by M delta T, where a unit is joule per kg, where Q is the amount of heat transfer, M is the mass of the substance, that is in kg, and delta T is the rise in temperature, unit is Kelvin. Now, there are two laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics represent the summary and essence of our experience with nature. While the zeroth law provides the basis for measurement of temperature, the first and second laws serve to define the two properties, energy and entropy, and deal with the conservation and degradation of energy. The first law of thermodynamics is one of the most important physical laws with several significant energy applications. The first law of thermodynamics speaks about the energy, and the second law of thermodynamics defines the very important property, that is entropy. The first law of thermodynamics states that a certain energy balance will hold when a system undergoes a change of state or a thermodynamic process, but this law is alternatively termed as law of conservation of energy, but it doesn't give any information on whether that energy of state or the process is feasible at all or not. It is the second law of thermodynamics which provides the criterion for the probability of occurring of various processes. Now, let us summarize what we have discussed in today's lecture session. We have discussed energy. We have defined energy, that energy is the capacity to do work, and the unit of energy in SI system is joule, and for British thermal unit it is BTU, and of course in CGS unit is a calorie, and 1 calorie is defined the energy for increasing 1 gram of water to 1 degree centigrade. And we have discussed different forms of energy like mechanical energy, electrical energy, magnetic energy, nuclear energy, and we also define the power. Power is nothing but the rate of doing work, and we discussed about the basics of electrical sciences. We discussed about the current and voltage, that is potential difference, and the resistance, and we have also discussed about the Ohm's law, that is very important law in electrical sciences, that the potential difference between the 2 points of a conductor through which current I is flowing, that V is directly proportional to I, and if you write down this in terms of equations, we have to introduce a constant of proportionality. That proportionality is known as R, so V is equal to IR. And we can have a graph if V versus I, and that is the voltage current graph, and it is a linear graph, we should say. We have also discussed about the thermodynamics. It is the basic, it is the science for dealing with heat, work and energy. There are two important laws we have discussed. We discussed about the first law of thermodynamics, which tells about the conservation of energy, while this first law of thermodynamics defines a very important property, that is energy, and the second law of thermodynamics tells us the very important property, that is the entropy. So, my dear friend, today we are finishing the first lecture on this, that is energy and its various forms, and in the next class we will discuss about the conventional energy sources. You know that conventional energy sources are coal, oil and natural gas. What are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? We will discuss in detail in our next class, that is conventional energy sources. Thank you very much.